right, well, the Women Orchestra. Oh man, it's going to be a show like no other. It is that moment where we keep appreciating the women. So it is a weekend for the women, and that's exactly what we're going to do. These ladies are out here holding the biggest of machines. Perhaps most of the men who handle such machines will tell you, are these machines instruments, yeah? They will tell you it's not an easy one. The breath that you require to make sure that you bring out some tune out of it. We'll be speaking to them shortly, but also they'll be entertaining us the entire evening. Of course, so this moment of her say, we get to very important conversations. We'll also be having our guests that will join us shortly away from the band. That is to just have a chit-chat in relation to where we are at as women in the country. We'll be having the Honorable Lillian Siyoi, who's the women representative of Trans Nzoia County, and we'll be having Masana Mulaudzi, who's the senior manager of Wikimedia, joining us virtually all the way from South Africa. Conversation that you do not want to miss out on, but we have to listen to what it is that is in the world of news. My name is Linda Alela. We first of all take the highlights and then to news.
Tonight, a section of Kenyans say they are unhappy with the NADCO report, which they say did not sort out the cost of living question. And questions emerged on who wanted the Rakanithi blogger Paris Mugera dead, as government condemns the killing of bloggers.
And you've seen the latest one being in Tharaka-Nithi County. And we want to say, yes, there may be a pain in the neck to you, but...
Also tonight, we tell you the sad tale of Sitatunga secondary school students who risk their lives daily just by being in school.
Na saa ingine tunaomba kiwanja cha primary ambacho hata hakiko ama Cherangani Hills Academy. Sasa hatuna kabisa penye watoto wanaweza chezea.
Our sign language interpreter is none other than Rhoda Nyamai, and as we march into the weekend in style, we'll be getting to that conversation with our guests as well as an interesting session of music. But before then, just a day after authorities confirmed the body of Tharaka-Nithi-based political blogger Paris Mugera, the government, through the spokesperson Isaac Mwaura, have weighed in on the subsequent killings of bloggers, strongly condemning the act, as Elizabeth Atieno reports.
It all began on the 29th of February 2024 when Paris Mugera left her rented house in Chuka Town, Tharaka-Nithi County, and informed her 15- and 6-year-old children that she would meet a friend before going to work, but she did not return. 3 days later, thus on the 2nd of March 2024, her children raised the alarm that their mother failed to return home and went ahead to inform the landlord, who also informed Mugera's friends and family.
Landlord alianza kupigia marafiki wake simu, na hapo ndio tukapatana kwa marafiki, tukamtafuta kwa marafiki wetu. Hapo ndio tukajua ni kama kidogo hapatikani kwa simu.
As the search for Mugera intensified, locals plying the Sagana-Makutano highway spotted an unknown body of a female adult lying by the roadside. This was on the 1st of March 2024. They then informed officers at Kanga police station at around 8 a.m. Coincidentally, it is on the same day that Mugera's phone was switched off at Katoge in Kirinyaga County at around 2 a.m.
Nishuku kwamba labda aliuawa kati ya tarehe 29 na tarehe 1 asubuhi mwezi wa 3 mwaka huu 2024.
On the 4th of March 2024, Mugera's family members and friends reported her missing at Chuka police station in Tharaka-Nithi County. The family members would later spot the images of the body found in Kirinyaga County making rounds on the internet. This prompted them to accompany investigating officers from Tharaka-Nithi to Kerugoya mortuary in Kirinyaga County on the 8th of March, where they confirmed that it was indeed the body of Paris Mugera.
Family imeconfirm kwamba ile mwili ambayo ilipatikana ni ya mwenda zake Paris.
The government spokesperson Dr. Isaac Mwaura has strongly condemned the persistent killing of bloggers across the country, saying this poses a serious threat to press freedom.
It used to be the mainstream journalists, but now that we have moved to citizen journalism, it is a future. New media is a future. We want to really say that the government will work very closely to ensure that we protect the lives of those who help to reach out to people through an alternative, credible communication channel.
According to police reports, the deceased was found with bruises on the forehead. Tharaka Nithi County Commissioner Wesley Koech has asked members of the family and residents to remain calm as investigations continue to establish what caused Mugera's death.
We want to treat it as an isolated incident ambayo imetokea, na vile uchunguzi utakavyokuendelea itabaini chanzo cha kifo hicho. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi kusema kwamba kumekuwa na visa. Kulikuwa tu na kisa kimoja ambayo ilitoka Meru, lakini baadaye mwili ukapatikana hapa, lakini hatuwezi kusema kwamba zina uhusiano.
The death of Mugera comes at the backdrop of the ongoing case of slain Meru County political blogger Daniel Muthiani, alias Sniper, who went missing on the 2nd of December 2023 and his body later discovered dumped in a thicket in Mutong River, Tharaka Nithi County. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Well, thank you, Liz, for that report. Now, Azimio leader Raila Odinga is seemingly sticking to his guns on the opening of the 2022 general election servers, just a day after throwing his weight behind the NADCO report, which he had recommended a general evaluation of the 2022 election process. Paul Kirobi now with that, of course, and what could become the latest of the political dog whistle?
A looming political battle could be brewing once the NADCO report will be tabled before the National Assembly. This comes after Azimio la Umoja Raila Odinga issues fresh demands to both houses of parliament if the report is to be implemented. Raila, in his latest statement, wants the Electoral Commission be fixed without any personal interest, as well as opening the IEBC servers.
Hatutaki Chebukati tena. Hatutaki Chebuchetha saba. Mpaka wae watu ambaye sisi wenyewe tuna imani nao, sio? Pile ile sava pale kura iliingia, nataka ifunguliwe, ikaguliwe, sawa sawa. Tunataka namna hiyo, Tatu, vile sisi tumesema vyama vyetu vibaki hivyo.
Wakijaribu kuharibu tena, wananchi wa Kenya wako na uhuru chini ya katiba kufanya yale ambayo mama kama huyu ameshughulikia sana, amechangia pakubwa kuhakikisha nchi yenye uhuru wa haki.
This seems to be a change of tune because of the mechanism required under the NADCO report. Earlier on, Odinga stated that he wanted the report be implemented as it is without any further amendments. Among other things, the NADCO report, which was handed over to President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga on Friday, recommended the general evaluation of the 2022 election process as opposed to the opening of the servers as had been demanded by the opposition. Odinga, who was speaking at his political backyard in Kibra, a region that has been supporting his demonstrations, he assured residents that he will be checking up on Ruto's government before and after the elections of the African Union Commission.
Lakini mimi niko hapa manake hiyo uchaguzi itafanyika mwaka ujao mwezi wa pili. Nikipata nitakwenda Addis Ababa, lakini Addis Ababa ni hapa tu. Nakula breakfast Nairobi, lunch nakula Addis Ababa, dinner narudi tena Nairobi hapa.
Ukiona watu wanafurahia sana, wanasema tutaenda kukampenia baba huko nje, wanafikiria wanafukuza baba Kenya. Hakuna mahali baba anaenda. Na wengine hawajawahi ombea baba kura hata hapa Toi.
While Raila was in Kibra, his co-principal Kalonzo Musyoka toured his political backyard in Kadhiani constituency, where he assured residents that Wiper Party will have to take advantage of the 2/3 gender rule.
Kwa hivyo, I think the political parties wataangalia Wiper tuweza kupatiwa maybe 3 or 4 positions or whatever. We do the gender top up tujiandae.
Raila Odinga, when he visited Kibra, he handed over a bus to Raila Education Center in Kibra as part of fulfilling his promises to the residents. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, in the same breath, as the clock ticks towards the February 2025 African Union Commission Chair election, so is the not-so-silent Odinga succession battle with his allies within the ODM party. outside gearing up to take over from the man who has become one of the country's political bigwigs. And as Elizabeth Mutuku now reports, Odinga, who is also gearing up to become the African Union Commission chair, finds himself at crossroads on the murky road to his seeming political exit.
Even before the dust settles on Azimio leader Raila Odinga's announcement that he will be seeking to vie for the chairmanship of the African Union Commission, a not so quiet battle to replace him not only as the ODM chief but also the Nyanza political kingpin is shaping up, one that threatens to rip apart the close to 2-decade-old political establishment. Raila, who was only 9 months before the AU Commission election, has seemingly blown hot and cold about his party and national political future, urged his lieutenants to focus on serving Kenyans at the moment.
Go to Addis Ababa, I will be very much around here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going nowhere.
Earlier in the year, Raila had hinted of a 6th stab at the presidency, and if the event of the past few days are anything to go by, the former Prime Minister is now at crossroads on whether to hand over the reins to members of his ODM party or Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who has supported him 5 times.
Kazi, baba akiamua ni Kalonzo, hakuna shida. Manake amekuwa na sisi, amekufa na sisi, na yeye pia apewe heshima yake.
An idea that is already causing ripples within the party.
Na kusema Kalonzo tosha. Akisema hivyo atabaki peke yake.
In the week while on tour on Wajir, the ODM chief was seen to have given the latest indication of his imminent exit from local politics if he clinches the lucrative AU top job by seemingly endorsing party stalwarts who have in the past tried to take over the party's leadership. They include former Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho, former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, ODM chairperson and nominated MP John Mbadi, and Babu Owino of Embakasi East. One critical aspect, however, is the fact that whoever succeeds Raila will only become a fully-fledged successor by clinching the Luo Nyanza political bloc, which has sustained Raila's reverence as national political force to reckon with.
Whoever is going to wear the shoes, they should know. They might not be fitting because they are too big. But somehow someone will have to be there. And whoever is going to be there, we wish them luck.
Another spanner in the succession works is hinged on the fate of Azimio coalition, with his relationship with former President Uhuru Kenyatta emerging as a major factor.
I don't think there's anything to worry about whether Azimio will move on or whether Azimio will not move on. Azimio will move on. That I can tell you as a guarantee. Azimio will move on, we'll all be a team, and we all come with a white smoke and we tell the Kenyans, this is the one.
And Baba has said it. He has hinted himself saying we will support, we have our own, and all that. So I think it's a matter of, do you trust yourself the way Baba normally trusts himself? And you know, Baba comes out shujaa kabisa.
A scenario that could be heavily determined by the secret deal that got him the AUC endorsement from his former political foe, President William Ruto.
There is no vacuum in leadership in Azimio. We have many, many principles. And as you have seen, and rightly so, His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is assuming leadership of the coalition and steering the ship very, very well.
The government is going to have an effortless win come 2027. Therefore, the exit of Raila is neither here nor there. I think it is not right now any of material importance, according to the way I'm seeing William Samoei Ruto and his government work.
Even if Raila is not on the ballot, you know, votes are not transferable. So no one can say with certainty that since you have Azimio flag bearer, you will inherit the votes. In fact, most of the votes Raila get most of them are likely to vote for William Ruto in 2027.
Raila Odinga has dominated Kenyan politics for decades, this earning him the name Enigma. And now the jury is out to see who will fill his big political shoes and steer the ship forward. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47, Nairobi.
All right, and President William Ruto has cautioned any government official that is propagating corruption in his department, saying that they will be dealt with accordingly. Here's Nelson Mureza with more on the president's tour of Makueni.
With Kenya Kwanza and Azimio closing ranks on Friday, on the National Dialogue Committee report, a section of the Azimio leadership, led by Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni, has dismissed the report for failing to meet Kenyans' expectations on the cost of living.
The NADCO report that we presented and has been taken on board by Parliament it falls short of what Kenyans expected, but as people who believe that the nation is more important than individuals, we've inched maybe a millimeter, a centimeter, in the direction of trying to sort out the issues that are ailing this country.
Kioni joins DAP Party Kenya leader Eugene Wamalwa and NARC Kenya Party leader Martha Karua, who have distanced themselves from the report after Azimio's push to have the affordable housing levy scrapped and value-added tax reduced to 8% from the current 16% failed.
There are things we agreed to disagree on, and that includes the issue of the cost of living, which is of much importance to us. The government side demanded that we leave that matter to them, and we agreed for purposes of helping the country to move forward. But this is still a debt, and we are going to continue to press them to address this issue of high cost of living.
Kenyans who bore the brunt of street protests arising from agitation on the reduction of the cost of living say they have been let down by the report, while allies of the two leaders endorse the document.
Sina mani na hiyo ripoti, kwani wanasiasa wamekuwa waongo. Ndiposa wakishachaguliwa wanatoka hapa nchi yetu leo, wanaenda ng'ambo, wanaenda kufanya shughuli zao, alafu narudi baada ya miaka 5.
Raila Odinga akisema iko sawa, hiyo kitu iko sawa. But personally, I'll also sit down na niisome.
The failure by the NADCO report to address the cost of living, so the report recommended the national government to reduce travel budget by 50%, something yet to be achieved. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission SRC to slash per diem for state officers by 30%, or state and public officers to travel in economy class and reduce allocations to hospitality and office supplies by 50%.
In terms of having a policy position where the executive is supposed to help Kenyans deal with the cost of living, zero. In fact, being informed by the BPS, the budget policy statement, Kenyans should expect even a higher level of taxation come the next finance bill.
President William Ruto's administration has said lowering the cost of living will be a gradual process and about done by the president, given his campaign promise to lower the cost of fuel while opposing creation of leadership positions. Apol Kamau, TV47.
Well, we apologize for playing a different story. The one that has just played is about Kenyans' reactions as well as those of the Azimio leaders in relation to the NADCO report, who they say, or where they say that, they are not really confident about the report that has not addressed their main concern, which was the high cost of living. And now back to this story that is by President William Ruto, who has cautioned any government official propagating corruption in his department, saying that they will be dealt with accordingly. Here is Nelson Mureza with more on the president's tour of Makueni.
President William Ruto has waged on with his affordable housing gospel as he toured Makueni County. The head of state insisting that the project is the way to go, despite facing legal hurdles in court. Speaking in Wote, where he attended a fundraising event to raise funds for the construction of the Catholic Bishop headquarters, President William Ruto also promised construction of 5 new modern markets in the county as a way of creating employment for the young people.
Na ni kwa sababu nilisimama hapa sokoni na nikawaambia vijana wa hapa nitakuwa na mpango ya wao kupata ajira. Mimi nataka niwatangazie vijana wa Makueni, kuanzia Jumatatu tutahitaji vijana karibu 1,000.
Furthermore, President William Ruto warned few people who are sabotaging the government development project that they will not be tolerated, while giving a stern warning to public officials who promote corruption.
Wafisadi na wakora na wezi, mambo yao ni matatu wote, na haina rank. Hata kama wewe ni kiongozi, ukitaka kujiingiza kwa mambo ya ufisadi, mambo yako ni matatu. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Tuko pamoja?
On the other hand, Governor Mutula Kilonzo, who hosted President Ruto along with other leaders in the county, used the stage to urge the government to finish projects that were started by the former government and get stalled.
Hiyo bado inaendelea, imeenda polepole, but we will ensure that what you started in queue continues and comes to pass.
While responding to the stalled projects, President William Ruto said the government had delayed funds, adding that enough money will be allocated to the projects in the budget of this financial year.
Katika budget ambayo mimi natengeneza saa hizi, napendekeza karibu shilingi bilioni 100 ya mambo ya barabara. Nyinyi wabunge mnisaidie kupitisha huko bunge.
Nelson Mwereza, TV47.
All right, now strategies to have normalcy resume in the education sector have begun in counties affected by constant banditry attacks. And of course, this has been initiated by the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Belio Kipsang, who has assured affected locals that security forces have been deployed to the area in a bid to restore security.
On Friday, these GSU officers touched down here in Chepkewel in an operation to weed out bandits that have become a constant menace. For almost 1 month, classes in this area have been put to a hold.
Shule kama Nairobi saizi, watoto wanaendelea na watoto wetu hapa hawaendi shule. Sasa hatujui tutafanya nini.
Nasukuro, Kosile, Ngaratuko, Kibenos and Kagir schools are some of them which had been closed earlier following the attacks.
The schools which have not been closed, they have of course the low enrollment, especially for the learners after resuming from the half term for a short period that they went.
Now a total of 8 schools have been shut down, while 13 others are affected. So far, 2 students and 1 teacher have died following these attacks. This breeding fear amongst teachers and parents in the area, who now are demanding for the government to step in.
The military has restored for us most of our schools, and we shall continue to partner with them to ensure that all the facilities that needs to be restored and making sure that our children are in school happen.
For the locals, their call is for the government to act on its promises promptly and have their children resume their studies.
Na ninajua kwamba watoto ambao wako hapa ni wale ambao wamechukua njia mzuri ya maisha. Education is an enabler. Ukipata education, everything becomes possible.
Sheila Chalangat for TV47.
All right, they say that children have a right to play, but this saying will remain just a saying for pupils of Sitatunga Secondary School in Trans Nzoia County, or worse still, become licensed to the grave. The students are forced to play on the road due to lack of a playground in the school after it was allegedly grabbed. Our reporter Isaac Famba is in the area and has prepared this story.
When we visited Sitatunga Secondary School during a break time, we found all students on the road, but not they were inside a place they call a playground. Here we found them involved in various sports activities, including soccer and athletics. I wanted to know the reason. Then I met the school principal, Evans Nyakundi, who explained the main reason for those students being on the road at that time.
lakini changamoto yenye tuko nayo hapa kubwa, hatuna penye wao watoto wanafaa kuchezea. Inabidi wachezee kwa barabara hapa, wakimbie barabara hapa na wasunguke mpaka wafike Pandanani na wafike pale. Hapa ndio kiwanja chetu kiko, na saa nyingine tunaomba kiwanja cha Budamali ambacho hata hakiko, ama Cherangani Hills Academy. Sasa hatuna kabisa penye watoto wanaweza chezea.
Despite lack of sports field at the school, some of them have been doing well in sports.
Muhula huu tuko na cross country, tulikuwa na athletics na handball na rugby. Hii ni ya muhula huu, muhula wa kwanza. Na itaendelea mpaka after half term, ndio sasa itaenda mpaka iende regionals mpaka nationals.
Due to the dangers of accident which are obvious to them, this situation forces all the teachers to come to this road to provide protection to the student when participating in sports.
Kuja kucheza na sisi tunakuwa huko, tunakaa na wao tukiwachunga. Lakini kuna wengine kama wanaweza kuwa nakimbia, anaweza Teresa kama huyu, toa hiyo kofia, aanguke chini, aumie kwa sababu ya the ruggedness of the ground along the road.
Beside the sports field, the expansion of basic structures including classes has also been a challenge. This is due to lack of land for expansion.
Pali ya further development, hatuna mahali ya kujengea madarasa, hatuna pali ya kujengea dormitory. Mwaka hii Mungu ametujalia, tumepata watoto wengi sana, na changamoto ni tutaweka hawa watoto wapi?
Lack of sports field in this school has been mentioned and called as land grabbing, which has been continued by some powerful individuals as the board management to the school, saying that the situation has led them to lack opportunities for the expansion of basic structures.
Kuna mzozo ya mashamba kotini, na kuna shamba yetu iko mahali tunatarajia serikali tusaidie hiyo tuiishe, kwa sababu tuna allotment letter. Kwa hivyo ni kueffect tu tupewe yetu, alafu hii watoto wapate pale pa kuchezea, wapate pale ya kujengewa, hata walimu pale ya kukaa. Walimu wana operate from outside wote, hakuna mwalimu anaishi hapa kwa sababu ya changamoto ya pale ya kujenga.
Despite of them having original land documents, the problem is still escalating. Now the plea of this student remains in the hand of the Land Commission in the country, together with the government, to ensure that the students get basic rights so that they can fully participate in learning lessons as well as sports and games.
Sababu inabidi wafanye mazoezi. Na tusipochukua watoto sports, tutaulizwa mbona watoto hawajaenda sports. Sasa inabidi na sisi tukae pamoja kila wakati na wao.
LR number 361 tunataka tutafutiwe boundary. Last time survey walikuja lakini wako tutafutia boundary, na tukalaunch complaint huko mpaka saa hizi hawajashughulika. Hii nyingine survey walikuja last year around September, lakini ikasemekana the owner alikuwa hajapata barua ya kuwa present, na haiwezi pimwa kama hakuna.
Isaac Famba, TV47, Sitatunga, Trans Nzoia County.
Well, thankfully, we have the representative, that is a woman representative of Trans Nzoia County. She's probably going to pick that up and see whether they can get any form of assistance. Now, detectives are investigating a mysterious death of a 13-year-old grade 8 student of the Joy Gardens Primary School in Embakasi West constituency. The student, Wellesley Njiru, is alleged to have fallen from a rooftop of an 8th-floor dormitory last night. Police say that they found the lifeless body on a balcony located on the first floor of the building, and the family of the late student, however, insist that the school may not have been forthright with what transpired last night. Buruburu Sub-County Police Commander, that is Francis Kamau, says that 4 people have been arrested and are helping police unravel the circumstances that led to the death of Wellesley Njiru. His body is at the Mama Lucy Hospital mortuary awaiting post-mortem. And now to sports, and Bandari FC pulled a 1-0 win against Kenyan Premier League defending champions That is Gor Mahia at Baraki Stadium in Mombasa. With a win, the Dockers jumped to second place on the log on 43 points, 7 points adrift leaders Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia started with high tempo, dominating the entire first quarter of the match with the striking force of Benson Omala, contained by Bandari's backline. 5 minutes to the end of the first half, Bandari FC, fast short on target, gave them the opener courtesy of Fidel Otieno. In the other matches, City Stars were held to a 1-1 draw by Bidco FC as Muranga Seal beat Sofapaka 2-1. All right, and we had several football clubs playing in the National Super League. NSL received a cash injection. That is, of course, on football equipment from Extreme Sports. The company, under the leadership of its Chief Executive Officer Hussein Mohammed, donated 2 million shillings to different needy teams. The squads also received football equipment, including soccer balls. Mohammed, who is eyeing the position of president in Football Kenya Federation elections, accused the current officials of neglecting the Division 2 League, which a breeding ground for top talent.
Excited to be here today with the National Super League teams, and we have announced as Extreme Sports and some of our friends that we will be supporting this division in terms of monetary support, but also with some equipment, and we've given them balls today. We will continue supporting our grassroots football right from the bottom to the top. KPL can only be strong and KPL can only succeed if we get the foundation right. Today we've given a total donation of 2 million shillings that will go, I'm sure, a long way into supporting some of these clubs that are really struggling. Every NSL team will tell you that they hardly are able to meet their weekly requirements. They are not able to travel to some of their games. They are not able to pay wages. They are not able to pay their technical bench. And all this is as a result of a lack of sponsorship in this particular league. It is about time now we attracted more support into our football, but that will only come if we have good governance and we have transparency and accountability in football management.
All right, we have Miriam and Sumaya here, and that is all we had for you. That is in relation to the worlds of news. So we shift gears to Miriam as well as Sumaya as we release Rhoda Nyamai, of course, to take a rest. We are getting into that moment of her say, and as you can evidently see, they are all here set with their instruments. They are representative of the Women Orchestra, and they're coming all the way from Uganda. They'll be presenting, or perhaps they'll be having some function tomorrow. They'll be telling us all about that shortly. But before we take a short break, how about we get some beat of music and then we'll be coming back again with them. That is later on. So what do you have for us next? Okay, go.